DC Nation, what is up? We're back with another video. In this video, I'll be covering all the new DC comics that came out this past week, the week of March 29th. This is the end of March, and DC is ending out the month with a bang. We got multiple oversized issues, and it started out, my pick of the week is gonna be Shadow War Alpha. Number 1, this is the start of Josh Williamson's new crossover events, a crossover between Batman, Robin, and Deathstroke. And something more interesting about this is this crossover will lead right into the big DC summer events, Dark Crisis, also written by Joshua Williamson. Now, for this Shadow War Alpha issue, it's 40 pages, and the artwork is done by Victor Bogdanovich, which his artwork is amazing. It's really good, guys. It looks really good. Now, it is in the same style as Greg Capullo, and I think Greg Capullo's artwork is way better. Like, it's more detailed, and I do feel like Victor Bogdanovich is sometimes ripping off some of Greg Capullo's style a little bit too much. Like, there's one thing if your style is similar to another artist, but if you start doing the same gimmicks as that artist, it's kind of like, okay, switch it up. You gotta be a little different. Like, you gotta be a little unique. Like, for example, in this issue, Batman, he makes his entrance in Gotham City, and we see Lockup, right? And this is at the very beginning of the issue. Lockup, you don't know who Lockup is. He's a villain that debuted in Batman, the animated series, beats ass, and he's basically, he worked at Arkham Asylum, and he watched over all the different villains of Batman, and all these villains were scared of him, especially Scarecrow. Literally, the villain who uses fear, he's afraid of Lockup. Sorry, makes you know that Lockup is very intimidating because he treat all these villains not well. And Batman caught on to this and he beat him. Now, in this issue, we see Lockup. He has a couple of criminals hostage, and he's talking to them about how they're doing wrong for the city. He's gonna make them pay, but then Batman shows up, and how Batman shows up, he shows up in this splash image that looks really dope. You get a POV shot of Lockup. He's looking at Batman. Batman is coming out of the shadows. He's ready to take Lockup down. You see the bat signal behind him, and it's epic. But at the same time, this reminds me of Greg Capullo's artwork because Greg Capullo is known to do these POV shots. Like, that's just a gimmick of his. And for Victor Bogdanovich to literally just do that frame, well, the splash image, it looks like Greg Capullo's artwork. It looks totally like it. Like how Batman is posed, how Lockup has his hands. Like, it looks like Victor Bogdanovich looked at Greg Capullo's splash image of Batman, like a POV shot, and just copied it. So that's like my only flaw with his artwork, which that's not a bad flaw. It's just I wish Victor Bogdanovich would be a little more unique, maybe make his own gimmicks. But other than that, his artwork in this issue is amazing. And that scene of Batman taking down Lockup is awesome. And I just like that Lockup is included here. Like, we haven't seen Lockup at all at DC Comics in so long. Like, actually, I don't think we've seen him in like years. So to see him here at events, just for a quick scene, it's nice. Now, to the main plot of the story. At the beginning of the issue, we see Ra's al Ghul. We get an awesome splash image of just his history with Batman and the Justice League. And recently, in Robin number 12, we found out that Ra's al Ghul is dying. The Lazarus pits are killing him. And Mother Soul, she just laughed at Ra's al Ghul. And we see Ra's al Ghul, he's just watching over. He's thinking about this. He's coughing up blood. He's slowly dying. But then he looks out and sees his daughter, Talia, training with his grandson, Damian. Because actually, in Robin number 12, we saw Damian and Talia reunite. They finally made a bond once again. And Damian, he's happy. He might be ready to actually revisit with his father, Batman. Now, from here, we then see Ra's al Ghul and Talia arguing because Ra's al Ghul has decided that himself and Talia should turn themselves in. They're done. They're going to turn themselves in and reveal all the science and history behind the Lazarus pits. Let it all be known to the public. Now, here, okay, Ra's al Ghul, I like his character, he's great. Josh Williamson has written him okay so far, but his character's kind of changed here. Like, he's more of a good guy, or actually more like an anti-hero. Like, he's not really you don't see the intelligence side of him that much, at all. Yes, you see, okay, he's slowly dying, I get that, that's an interesting plot point, but as a character, it's not the Ra's al Ghul we all know, and that's a little disappointing. I didn't like that. Like, I don't like how Ra's al Ghul is written in this issue. And to make matters worse, later in the issue, we see, okay, Ra's al Ghul and Talia, they do this big rally in Gotham, and already I'm like, okay, Ra's al Ghul doing a big, like, speech in front of all these people, I don't think it fits. Like, it doesn't fit his character. That's not something you would do, and for him to be all out in the open, like, come on. And then when the speech starts, it's actually a good speech, so I'm the demon's head, but now I'm gonna reveal to you all what's the whole thing about the Lazarus Pits, what's the history behind it, how you could use it. I'm like, okay, this is kinda cool. And what's even better, we see Batman, Robin, Damian reunites. You see Batman and Robin looking at each other across from rooftops on the splash image, great splash image. But then, the unexpected happens. Well, it's not really unexpected. We see Ra's al Ghul, he gets sniped down, killed. We get a double page spread that looks really cool. Him just getting shot and just the letters bang being over it. Really cool, like the artwork is good here. But why would Ra's al Ghul put himself in the open and get shot like this, get sniped down? And then we get the reveal that it's Deathstroke. Now, I do like the image that shows Deathstroke in the classic outfit. He shot Ra's al Ghul, and Damian and Talia being shocked, and Batman being like, Deathstroke, and we get a short fight between them, and then we see a bomb go off, and Ra's al Ghul's body is completely disintegrated. So his body cannot be put in the Lazarus Pit, he cannot be revived. Ra's al Ghul is officially dead. And I know there's been some theories like, oh, did Ra's al Ghul cause all this? Maybe this is why he's out of character. Nah, he's dead. Like, if he caused this, he would not been fully disintegrated. Like, he's totally dead. Whoever wanted him dead, they got away with it. Which, that sucks. I don't know why Ra's al Ghul would let this happen so easily. Like, he's taken down so easily. That's the worst part of this issue. Ra's al Ghul's how he's written as a character. Now, from there, Damian, he tried to save Ra's al Ghul, but Batman prevented him, and Damian's mad. He's like, why'd you not save him? Like, we could have saved my grandfather. And Batman's like, I wanted to save you. Batman wanted to save his son. And we get this awesome splash image of Batman holding Damian as Damian cries, but then the moment is ruined by Batman then blaming Damian for, well, he doesn't straight out blame Damian for Alfred's death, because what happens, Damian's like, one of my grandfathers, Alfred, died, and now I have another grandfather who's dead. And Batman's like, well, he wouldn't be dead if I was there. Basically, Batman, he does like a quick dig to Damian. That's how I perceived it. Like, just Batman being like, well, Alfred would not died if I was there. Like, you were there, Damian, but obviously you couldn't save him. And I don't like this. Like, it's just forced drama. Like, just for the sake of it. I feel like it doesn't need to be there. Like, I feel like it could just be, okay, Damian's mad at Batman for not allowing Damian to save Ra's al Ghul's body at the last moment. But Batman, we get where he's coming from because Batman wants to save his son. That'd been good enough. But no, you gotta throw in this whole thing that Batman being like, oh, Alfred would have been alive if I was there. Like, it's just so forced. And then Damian walking up being like, I'll go stop whoever killed Ra's al Ghul alone, not with you. So now Batman and Damian are even more apart than ever before, which they should have been together by the end of this issue. That's one of the points of this event. So I did not like this scene. It started out good, and then it didn't end well. This whole issue, honestly, is a good start to the crossover, but it's also very mixed. Like, could be an epic start, but certain flaws in the issue, it just takes me out of the story. Certain characters not being written well, forced drama, and yeah. From here, though, after Batman and Robin, their confrontation, we see Talia. She's mad that her father is dead, like, no doubt, and she brings together the Demon Shadow, which is a whole group of assassins, including Malcolm Merlin, which I like seeing there, and Talia. She has a whole new look. We get a splash image of her in like these Ra's al Ghul robes. That's what I call them. It's like green and yellow, and she looks dope. I'm excited to see Talia's involvement in this. Like, she's gonna be badass. And now Talia and the Demon Shadow are targeting Deathstroke. Deathstroke has been framed, and he does not know what's coming. Well, at the end of the issue, we see Prometheus. He tells Deathstroke while Deathstroke is talking to his son Respawn, and Deathstroke at first gets mad at Prometheus for questioning him, but then Prometheus is like, I'm not trying to question you. We actually have a serious problem. Like, we're actually being hunted now because you killed Ra's al Ghul. And Deathstroke is like, I didn't kill Ra's al Ghul, I've been here the entire time. And then the issue ends with the Demon Shadow arriving with this new female character, which we'll figure out who she is later in the crossover. I'm excited to see what she's about. Like, she looks cool. And yeah, now Deathstroke, Respawn, and Prometheus will have to fight off against the Demon Shadow. Talia is on the hunt. Batman is on the hunt as well. Damian's on the hunt. Everything has been set in motion, and now this event will just be action-packed. And I'll give it that. At least this event is just straight out telling us that, okay, this is gonna be an action-packed event. It's not gonna be no deep event. It's just fully action, seeing all these characters fight against each other in a conflict, and I like that. And I think this issue would have been a lot better if it was just written a little better. Like, Joshua Williamson, I don't know, like, some of the writing in this issue was questionable, like with Ra's al Ghul, Batman, Robin, and I hope that questionable writing does not continue, because this crossover could be epic. Like, this issue is still good, I still enjoyed it, it's my pick of the week, but it could have been better. But yeah, guys, Shadow War Alpha, if you've been enjoying Batman, Robin, and Deathstroke Inc., then I recommend you check out the starts of this new crossover. Next up on our list, we got Batman Beyond the White Knight #1, written by Sean Gordon Murphy. This is the third installment in the White Knight universe. And guys, Sean Gordon Murphy is one of those writers that is just so reliable. Like, I have not read one bad comic written by him. And one of my favorite comics that he's written that's not at DC or Marvel is Tokyo Ghost. It's a third-party one. I don't know which, actually, if it's Image Comics or not Black Label, but Dark Horse. But that was a great story. If you have not read Tokyo Ghost, I highly recommend it. But for this, Batman Beyond the White Knights, guys, it's a great story. Like, I've always enjoyed the White Knight universe. Like, Batman the White Knight was one of the best Elseworld stories that started a few years ago. And then Curse of the White Knight was a good sequel with Azrael. Azrael was written very well in this universe. And then after that, we got a spin-off solo comic with the Harley Quinn of this White Knight universe, which was solid. But now, we're going 10 years in the future, and this issue starts out with Terry McGinnis getting the Batman Beyond costume. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, is he working with Bruce? Is that why he's doing it? Oh, is he trying to go against Derek Powers because Derek Powers killed his father? Like, that's the story of Batman Beyond. And guys, I'm actually doing Batman Beyond reactions on this channel. I've been doing it on this channel for a while, and if you don't watch those already, you should check them out. Like, they're really good. I really enjoy that show. It's one of my favorite shows I've ever watched. And I'm actually on season 3 right now, almost done with the show. But back to the comic, we see Terry McGinnis, and he gets hunted by the cops. He gets the costume, Batman Beyond costume. He gets away. You see him fly off. We get an awesome double page spread. And then we figure out the person in Terry's ear, the person he's working with, is Derek Powers. Yep, it's not Bruce in his ear. No, it's Derek Powers. Yeah, Terry and Derek Powers are working together. And I'm guessing in this universe, Derek Powers didn't kill Terry's father, but maybe Batman accidentally killed him. Like, it's kind of a switcheroo. Like, Sean Gordon Murphy switched it up here, and it's a great way to open the issue. Like, I was shocked by this. I'm like, what? Derek Powers is working with Terry? Like, Terry's working with him? Like, why? I want to figure this out. And we don't really see that much of Terry going on. Like, we don't see more of him as the issue goes on. But I'm guessing we'll go more into his origin, why he's with Derek Powers, as the series goes onward. Now, another character that's working with Derek Powers is Dick Grayson. Yep, Dick Grayson is no longer Nightwing. He's now an officer for Wayne Industries, for Derek Powers. And we see Bruce, he's in jail. He's still in jail after 10 years. And this issue is really centered around the bond, the dynamic between Bruce and Jason Todd. And another big reveal, another big switcheroo, is that Jason Todd is the first Robin. Yep, Dick Grayson is not the first Robin. He's the second Robin in this universe. Jason Todd is the first Robin. And how the story is told that Jason Todd, it still went on the same way. Like, okay, he's the first Robin, but he's still kidnapped by Joker. But this time, he's not killed. Joker actually let him go, but Batman thought he died, and then Batman went on to get Dick Grayson as Robin. Jason Todd came back, but saw Bruce with Dick, and Jason got jealous. He's like, okay, Bruce just moved on. He forgot about me. And they went on to become Red Hood, separate from Bruce, and they had kind of not a good dynamic for so long. But now that Bruce has been in jail and they've been interacting, Bruce and Jason's dynamic is back, and they're back to like that father and son dynamic. And I like it. How Sean Gordon Murphy writes this, it's so phenomenal. And what's even better is the artwork. Sean Gordon Murphy, he writes and draws all of his comics. So it's one thing to be a great writer, but to be an awesome artist as well. Like Sean Gordon Murphy, he just knows how to do perspective, how he draws this issue. Like the art is phenomenal. And I really like how every time Bruce and Jason talk to each other, you see below Batman and Robin talking to each other in the reflection. Just little details like that. Just how Sean Gordon Murphy makes the panel layouts, how he shows the characters, how he draws them, how he makes the sequences. Like, it's great sequential artwork. This is why I read comics, for this type of expertise. Like, Sean Gordon Murphy kills it. Great writing, great artwork. And by the end of the issue, you see Bruce, he gets out of jail, he leaves because he realized that, okay, I need to stop whatever Batman is out in the sea. He doesn't know that's Terry. We actually get a splash image of Terry in the Batman costume with Neo Gotham behind him, and it looks awesome. Like, the artwork here is great. But now Bruce, he can't be in jail any longer. He needs to stop Derek Powers and this new Batman. And you see Bruce leave, and I'm like, okay, Bruce is leaving. We're at the end of the issue. What's gonna be the cliffhanger? And then we see Bruce run into the Joker, Jack Napier. And he's in a different costume. He looks very unique, a cool style. And the last time we saw Joker, he died. And Bruce is shot. And that splash image, that final splash image, is epic. It gets me excited. I'm excited to see what else the Joker has planned. How else will Jason Todd be involved? What will happen to Terry? How will he get involved? What are Derek Powers' plans? And what will happen next on Bruce's journey? This is a great first issue. Probably my favorite first issue out of all the White Knight series. Like, the first issue of Batman White Knight was great. The first issue of Curse of the White Knight was great. But the first issue of Beyond the White Knight, this new series, is so well done. Like, it's perfect. Like, I have no flaws with this issue. Like, guys, you gotta check it out. Like, I highly recommend it. Next up on our list, we got Batman One Dark Nights #2. This is a Black Label 3-issue miniseries written and drawn by Chalk, the famous artist that worked with Scott Snyder on Batman Black Mirror. And already Chalk, he's proved himself over the years for sure, but this series has really shown that. If you want some amazing work by Chalk, then I highly recommend this series. Like, the first issue for this miniseries was good, but this issue is even better. Like, guys, it's hard to find comics nowadays that are written and drawn by the same person. And I think that's great when you have that. Because sometimes when you have writers and artists working together, the artist doesn't do exactly what the writer wants. Like, he can try his best, but you won't get that perfect alignment as you would with someone who's just doing all the work. Like, sometimes when one person does it all, like, that's a lot of work. Like, respect to Jock, respect to Sean Gordon Murphy, both of them do that. Like, I really appreciate when someone does that, because they're putting in all that work and they're making sure the story they intend to put out gets out. It's like no changes at all. And guys, this issue of Batman One Dark Knight, we see Batman, he has EMPs trying to save EMP, get him across Gotham. These two gangs are going after EMP. One of them is trying to kill him, one of them is trying to take him in alive. You got this other new character who's involved, who's connected to EMP. You get some character development for EMP. We get some origin with him, how he was in an accident that he caused because he's literally like a living bomb, and he feels bad over it, and he just wants to make sure the people that respected him and helped him out are safe. So I can feel for EMP. Like, EMP last issue, he kind of just felt like a plot device, but here, he actually feels like a character, and Chalk gives him good character development. Now, my favorite part of this issue, though, is just seeing Batman think on his feet and have to improvise so much, like him going across Gotham. He doesn't have connection to Alfred, because after what EMP did last issue, it's a total blackout in Gotham City. There's no, like, internet connection, no nothing. Like, all the lights are out, and Batman, he can't use a lot of his gadgets. Yes, he can still use a batarang, but he's really just using his martial arts, his intelligence, and how good he can improvise. And just seeing EMP almost die many times in this issue, Batman save him, and yeah, I just like seeing Batman improvise. Like, this is Batman at his best. And at the end of the issue where EMP gets taken into the sewers, Batman follows behind, and Batman's now have to stop this gang and save EMP in the dark. And for some people, they'll be like, oh, I have to save this person in the dark? Like, that's very hard. Where Batman is like, the dark? I live in the shadows. I love the dark. And seeing Batman smile at the end, be like, alright, let's go. It got me excited. It got me really hyped. And I'm really looking forward to the next issue. But yeah, guys, Batman One Dark Knight #2. If you enjoyed the first issue, and if you like the writing and artwork by Chalk, then I highly recommend you check out this issue. Next up on our list, we got War for Earth 3 #2. This is the conclusion to this crossover, War for Earth 3, and I think this shouldn't have been a crossover. I think this should just be a story in the main Suicide Squad comic, because the story itself is good. Okay, Amanda Waller, she went to Earth 3, she took control of the crime syndicate. Now the Suicide Squad, led by Rick Flag, they show up, they fight back. Amanda Waller, she has all these plans ready, she beats Rick Flag, she gets some of his Suicide Squad to join her, she takes down Ultraman, and she gets Superwoman and the rest of the crime syndicate on her side. So now Amanda Waller has a mix of a crime syndicate and a Suicide Squad on her side. She's taken over Earth 3, and she's blocked Earth 3 off from the rest of the multiverse, so no one else can show up. So Amanda Waller actually controls the entire world. And that's what happens at the end of this issue. Rick Flag loses, he goes back, and that's it. And I like that story, it's good. It shows how formidable and how much of a good villain Amanda Waller can be. And the lineup that we end up with at the end of the issue, the final splash image where it shows Nocturne, Match, who's the new Superman of this team. We got Superwoman. We got Johnny Quick, the Etrigan Brainiac mix, like that character. Just the lineup we have here is great. And I actually hope we get a Crime Syndicate miniseries that shows Amanda Waller controlling Earth 3 with this lineup. That'd be great. And we'll probably get that. We'll probably get a miniseries, a maxi series, or maybe an ongoing series following this team, or they'll eventually show up in another event. It won't be Dark Crisis though, because Earth 3 is blocked off from the multiverse, so it can't be touched. But we'll eventually see this team again. So yeah, guys, you can see I enjoyed the story. I like it. It's a good idea. And the Suicide Squad main title has been amazing. I'm excited to see it wrap up its final 2 issues with Rick Flag, Bloodsport, Peacemaker, and the rest of the team. But what I don't like is how this story is a crossover. This should not be a crossover, because literally in this issue we see Nightwing and Starfire. They show up, which I ain't like how they're shoehorned in the Teen Titans Academy issue. But here I'm like, okay, maybe they show up, we get some good action sequences, and it actually makes sense why they're here. No, we'll get no action with the Teen Titans. And actually we see the Teen Titans Academy students show up to Amanda Waller laugh at them, and then Amanda Waller take them hostage, and Waller tell the Teen Titans, leave this earth or I'll kill them. And the Teen Titans, they leave. They literally just bail. They leave and that's it. Same for Flash. And actually, I don't even know if Flash shows up in a single panel in this issue. Maybe he does, but I forgot about him being there. So yeah, the Teen Titans and Flash have no involvement really in this story at all. It really felt like DC just shoehorned them in there to fill in some pages. That's it. It should not be a crossover. It should have just been a story in the Suicide Squad comic. Because Rick Flag, the Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller, and the Crime Syndicate, they're involved well. It's a good story there. But Teen Titans and the Flash, it's just so shoehorned in there that like they're very shoehorned in, and it drops the quality for the book. So yeah, guys, if you're going into this issue expecting good Teen Titans and Flash action, or just some good involvement of their characters, like if this issue actually felt like a crossover, well, sorry to disappoint you, it's not that. Like, it's not at all. Like, don't go into this issue expecting that. Go into this issue expecting the story that's been told in Suicide Squad. If you've been reading that comic, then I highly recommend this issue, this conclusion to this crossover. But if you are going into this issue wanting an actual crossover, then you're not gonna get that. So yeah, that's my main problem with this issue, but I am excited to see this new Amanda Waller-led Crime Syndicate go forward. Like, where will they end up in the DC universe? Moving on to the last new DC comic that came out this past week, we got DC vs. Vampires number 6, written by Matthew Rosenberg and James Tynion IV. And this is the halfway point of this maxi series. It's a well-paced issue, great artwork by Otto Skimmett, and literally the only big thing in this issue is the reveal of the Vampire King. So that reveal really stems on if this issue is good or not. And guess what? The reveal, it's great. Like, it's actually a really good reveal. Now, I'm still thinking there's more to the story. Like, we get the reveal, but I think there's more to it and how the issue ends. If the story is getting more epic, I'm excited to see where it goes. But to that reveal, we find out that the Vampire King is Dick Grayson, Nightwing. Yep, in this issue we see Batgirl, the Suicide Squad, they find Joker dead, and she's like, oh, I thought Joker would be the Vampire King. So that means that the Vampire King is someone in the Bat family. Someone is gonna betray them. And we see Batman, Green Arrow, and the rest of the Bat family. They take down Wonder Woman and Green Lantern and Hal Jordan, who are vampires. But then Nightwing, we get the splash image of him pulling Batman's heart, like actually punching through Batman's heart. And it's horrific. Like, it's a really well-drawn splash image. It shocked me. And how it's set up is so good. The build-up leads to a good payoff. And yeah, just how Nightwing kills Batman and then infects Jason Todd, like gets Red Hood and Damian when Robin turns them into vampires. Well, actually, he turns Red Hood. Well, actually, no. Red Hood almost gets turned into a vampire, but then Green Arrow at the last second destroys the area and Red Hood's just killed. Same for Damian and Tim Drake, they're killed. But now Nightwing, he's the Vampire King. He's got Wonder Woman and Hal Jordan at his side, and he's taking over the world. The vampires are taking over, and it's up to Green Arrow, Alfred, Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, and we got some mystic characters like Constantine, Swamp Thing. They're all gonna have to team up to stop Nightwing. And I'm wondering, okay, it's not just Dick Grayson. He didn't just become a vampire and that's it. Something has taken control of him. Who is the actual Vampire King? Like, it's a good reveal that Dick Grayson is like the vessel, you could say, of this vampire, and he's the one being controlled. That was a good reveal, but I think there's another reveal coming down the line, and I'm excited to see what it's gonna be. But yeah, guys, overall, a great issue. You've been expecting a reveal. Well, it's finally here, and it's good, and the issue just continues the quality of the series. So yeah, I highly recommend you pick up this issue. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap up all the new DC comics that came out this past week. But now it's time for a back haul pull. And this week I got for you guys Batman Last Night on Earth. a 3-issue miniseries under Black Label, written by Scott Snyder, art by Greg Capullo. You already know the artwork by Greg Capullo is amazing. Like, he's one of the best artists in the comic book industry. But for the story itself, this is Scott Snyder's last Batman story. And you see Batman in this post-apocalyptic world, and you see him find Joker, who's in, like, it's just Joker's head in a lamp, and he walks across the DC Universe. The DC Universe has been changed, and we got this new villain, Omega, who, twist, here's some spoilers, real quickly. I gave you a chance. Alright, the twist is that Omega, this villain, is an evil version of Bruce Wayne. So it's very interesting, like, how in-depth we go into Bruce's character in the story, and how it's like his last story, the dynamic between Joker and Batman, how Joker becomes Batman's new Robin. I find that very funny, and just Joker narrating this entire story. It's so awesome. And guys, I already said Greg Capullo's artwork is amazing, but it really is. Like, this is some of his best work of all time, in my opinion. Like, some of the work here, it looks so good. Splash images, like the reveal of Omega, like that image, I was shocked when I first read this. Like, it was really cool. And just how the whole story wraps up, it's very hopeful. And we actually get a final splash image of Batman. He's in a new suit, which looks really cool. We get a yellow Bat logo on his chest. We see Joker in a Robin robot costume, you could say, just a robotic Joker. We see Wonder Woman, who's older, and then we see baby Clark, who will become Superman. And it's interesting how the series ends. Like, I would actually want a sequel to this. Like, I know this is Scott Snyder's final Batman story, but I would really like a story centered around Batman raising Clark, raising Superman. Like, that is very unique, very interesting story. And you have Joker as a Robin at the side, and Wonder Woman bringing together the Justice League once again. Like, that could be an awesome sequel. But I'm fine with the story ending like this. Like, I know we're not gonna get that sequel because this is Scott Snyder's final Batman story, but at least he ended it off with a bang. Like, this is one of Scott Snyder's best stories, in my opinion. He really went all out with unique ideas, great action, great character developments, in-depth character developments, and just a good perspective on Batman and the DC Universe in general. So yeah, guys, if you just want a good miniseries that is just a masterpiece, like, it really is a masterpiece, one of my favorite stories, one of my favorite Elseworld stories in the past few years, then I highly recommend you check out Batman, The Last Night on Earth. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. Tell me your thoughts on Batman, Last Night on Earth down below. Also, tell me your pick of the week. Did you like Shadow War Alpha more than Batman Beyond the White Knights? Maybe vice versa. What was your pick of the week? And yeah, if you liked the video, give a big thumbs up. You should make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on my next DC Comics video. And yeah, thanks for watching, and peace out.